So, let's talk about the internet. You know, that thing we use every single day. We're going to look at a potential new chapter for it, one that promises to fix all those little frictions in our digital lives. I'm talking about the forgotten passwords, that feeling that our data isn't really ours, all of it. Okay, let's dive right in. But look, before we get to the solution, we got to be really clear about the problem. We're talking about the internet we all use right now, the one people call Web 2.0. And yeah, it's connected us in some incredible ways, but let's be honest, it's also brought a ton of new headaches.
I mean, does this sound familiar? You're juggling dozens of different passwords, you're constantly having to create new accounts for every little thing, and you've got that nagging feeling in the back of your mind that everything you do online is being tracked and sold. You're not alone, I promise. This is just the way the current web works, and it's built on a model that has some, well, pretty big issues.
And really, what's at the heart of all this frustration? It's a huge imbalance. In this Web 2.0 world, just a handful of giant platforms control pretty much everything. Our personal data, it's their asset, not ours, which opens up all kinds of security risks. And if you're a small business, you're stuck paying high fees just to reach your own customers with marketing that, frankly, often feels like you're just shouting into the wind. It's a whole ecosystem that helps the middleman, not you or the small shop down the street.
Okay, so this is where the whole idea of Web 3.0 comes into play. And this isn't just about some, technical upgrade. It's a total shift in thinking. The whole point is to build a new internet, one that's way smarter, more decentralized, and is built around you, the user. It's really about putting control back where it should have been all along.
And this quote from the source material, man, it just nails it. A digital economy that is centered on the user, giving you complete control and ownership of your own data. It's about you having total say over your information, who gets to see it, how it's used, all of it. That's the big promise we're digging into today.
So the big question is, how do we actually get there? Well, for this explainer, we're going to look at one company's approach to building the actual tools for this new web. It's called the SMARTCUBIC ecosystem, and it's basically designed to be the infrastructure that makes this whole user-centric internet a reality.
To really get how it works, we can break it all down into three main parts. The platform itself calls them a gateway, a brain, and a heart. And you know what? It's a really simple, but honestly, powerful way to see how all this technology is supposed to work together to give you a totally different kind of experience. All right, first up is the gateway. This part is called phone to web. The best way to think about it is like your own personal universal key for the internet, except it's a key you never ever have to remember. It ties a unique, super secure address directly to your phone. That means no more usernames, no more passwords. And since it only works from your device, the source material says it basically wipes out the risk of phishing attacks.
Now let's get to the brain of the whole operation, which is the SMARTCUBIC tech itself. This is the intelligence layer. So instead of just matching keywords like a regular search engine does, this thing's semantic AI actually gets the meaning. It understands the context of what you're asking for. The whole point is to get you what you actually want accurately and in a way that's personalized just for you.
And that difference is so important. We've all seen those weird AI hallucinations, right? Where a chatbot just confidently makes stuff up. Well, according to the source, that's what happens with the old keyword-based AI. Semantic AI, on the other hand, is built to understand how concepts relate to each other, so the goal is to avoid all that and deliver info that's not just relevant, but actually reliable.
And finally, we've got the heart. This is called Reward Cubic. This is the piece that's all about building loyalty and a real connection. It uses all that smarts from the brain to understand what you do and then offer up rewards that are actually meaningful and pop up at just the right time. It's about turning a one-time purchase into a real relationship between a customer and a business.
Okay, so we've got the gateway, the brain, and the heart. I know, it might still sound a little abstract, so let's make it real. Let's walk through how this whole thing would actually come together in a super simple everyday situation. Just imagine, you're at your favorite local restaurant.
You sit down, you scan a QR code on the table, and boom, instantly the menu's right there on your phone. Notice what didn't happen. No app to download, no account to create. That's the phone-to-web gateway giving you that easy, secure access. Then you notice the menu isn't just generic, it's actually highlighting dishes it thinks you'll like based on what you've ordered before. That's the SMARTCUBIC brain understanding your tastes. And then, After you pay, you automatically get a digital stamp on your loyalty card. That's the Reward Cubic heart, making that connection to the restaurant just a little bit stronger.
And this isn't just for restaurants. Not at all. The source documents map out how this same basic structure, that gateway, brain, and heart, can be used in tons of other industries. Think about healthcare. It could mean secure, immediate access to your own patient files. Or for e-commerce, a shopping experience that's actually personalized. And for all those small businesses, it's a powerful way to build a loyal customer base without breaking the bank.
So you can see this is about way more than just convenience. We're talking about a huge shift in how we handle our digital identity. It's about finally moving from a world where our data is treated like a commodity to one where it's treated like our property. This table really makes the difference crystal clear. On today's platforms, the platform owns the data. Getting access is a pain. The AI can be, well, unreliable. And if you create content, your copyright is always at risk. The model SMARTCUBIC is proposing flips every single one of those things. The user controls the data. Access is seamless. The AI understands context. And copyright is protected by a blockchain, which is basically a super secure, unchangeable digital record that proves you own what you created.
So, what does all this mean for you? Well, it adds up to you getting your very own personal hub on the internet, a unique address that leads to your private portal, where you are the one in charge. You decide what info is there, you decide who gets to see it, and you can create and share whatever you want with the confidence that you actually own it.
And that really brings us to the final thought here. For decades, we've had to adapt to the internet, right? We've learned its weird rules, we've put up with all its little frustrations. The question this kind of technology asks is a simple one, but it's also a pretty profound one. What would it actually look like if for the very first time, the internet was designed to adapt to us?